Hello, hello. What's going on, Wired fam? How's everybody doing on this Wednesday evening? Wednesday night. I'm going to quit calling it evenings. It's night. I'm tired. I took a nap before this. I was like out. My wife comes downstairs and she's like, "Hey, honey, you going to go live tonight?" I'm like, I actually thought about it for a minute, and I better go. I better not disappoint everybody. So anyway, I was napping. I'll be honest about it. I've got a headache. I came home from work and I was just out. Anyway, passed out on the couch, and you guys woke me up. But I won't hold it against you, okay? How's that sound? So I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody had a good week. Man, let's see. What else happened since last Wednesday? Whew, it's been a blur. Man, I'll tell you, the weather warming up has got everybody in a weird mood. I'm telling you, everybody wants to go on vacation. Don't nobody want to work. And everybody wants to go fishing. So, yeah, it's been kind of weird the last week for sure. Guys, if you don't care, make sure you tell me hello when you get on. Make sure you drop me a line. Tell me hey. Let me know where you're from. I always like to see, like I said, how far we reach and just be able to say hello to you guys back. A lot of times I see a high number of people on here and I don't get a comment from everybody. I know I don't, but, I just kind of like to say hello to you and thanks for coming, right? So if you don't care, drop me a comment. Tell me hey. We're going to talk about a couple different things tonight, so let's outline an agenda for you guys real quick. Two things on the agenda for this week that came out this week. Obviously, I'll say came out, but obviously the class at Crappie Cove, guys. We are doing the first class, the Crappie Academy at Crappie Cove in Maryville, Tennessee. That is happening this Sunday. Can you believe it? It's already here. Come on. So where's my banner at? My banner ain't up. Let me get my banner up. Hey, there we go. Crappie Cove. Guys, I've been told you can use the wired discount on crappiecove.com now. There isn't a place you can put it in the website, but give them a call. Talk to Misty, and she'll hook you up. She'll get all your products for you, whatever you need, okay? So anyway, class at Crappie Cove, Crappie Academy, that's happening. I'm told the class starts at 1:30. I'm told the doors will open at 1. Let you guys in, let you have a good half hour or so to get you some products, order you some stuff, or not order you some stuff, but pick you up some stuff, get checked out and get in the training room for that. So if you're going to be at that class Sunday, and it's not too late to sign up for that. So if you guys want to sign up for that, you can sign up for that online, okay? There is an online platform set up. It'll be a Zoom meeting, and you can participate in the class online. All right. Now, the online people, the people that are online, they're interacting online, you'll be able to talk to me. I'll be able to hear you. Okay. Now, we will have a moderator. She will be muting everybody when they come in, so I don't have a bunch of ambient noise from you guys coming through the class. But as you guys have questions, our moderator will be able to unmute you. You will be able to ask me your question. I'll be able to hear you, and I'll be able to answer your question for you, okay? So it's going to be very interactive for the people online as well. My gosh, I got the hiccups. And it's going to be very fun. I've got all the presentation done. I've got all the PDFs and everything to send to everybody. If you've registered for that class online or in person, I'm going to be sending out the agenda for that probably tomorrow, so that you guys that are online, if you want to print that so you can go through it with me and you can make notes and write on it, you'll have that probably tomorrow for Sunday's class, okay? So I'm looking forward to it. Going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, crappiecove.com is where you register for the Crappie Academy. If you want to participate in the Crappie Academy, you can go there. There is a fee for that, but you can go there and you can register and pay and everything at crappiecove.com. and sign up for the Crappie Academy. Okay, that is this Sunday from 1:30 to 5. It is a 3.5-hour class. We are going to be, the topic for that is locating crappie anytime, anywhere. We're going to, and this is going to be sections. Okay, we're going to take this in baby steps, right? So we're going to bring everybody along with us. We're starting out how to locate crappie. Then we're going to work into the presentations for crappie. What are the different presentations? How to catch the fish. And then we're going to go to we'll probably go to sonar next. How to use your sonar, find brush, find structure, so on and so forth. Then we're going to do everything there: side imaging, down imaging, standard sonar. We're going to talk about LiveScope. It's going to be a very, very in-depth, great class. Then we're going to move over to techniques and how to catch these different fish. Probably teach a little bit of dock shooting for those that don't know how to dock shoot. Probably do a little teaching, a little hands-on. But it's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you aren't signed up for that, sign up for it. Okay. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's say some hellos real quick, because I've seen my comment section just building. Matthew Kofelt, hello. Andrew Alonzo from Oakdale, Tennessee, hello, sir. Josh Sanders from Chattanooga. Joseph Thaxton from Macon. What's going on, guys? Andrew, very good questions. Andrew says, so Matt, are you fishing the ACC tournament or weighing fish? Glad I'll be able to meet you once. Well, that means you're fishing the tournament. I'm glad, Andrew. And yes, we are going to talk about the ACC tournament here in just a minute. To answer your question, though, real quick, I will be fishing that tournament. I'm not going to miss out on an opportunity to fish, my friend. So I will be fishing that tournament, but we're going to talk about that here in a minute. So this tournament is unlike any other crappie tournament that's ever happened. Okay. So we really need to dig into that. We really need to have a conversation about it. And I'm telling you right now, it don't matter if you're a novice angler all the way up to a professional angler. This tournament does not play favorites at all in any way, shape, form, fashion. And we're going to talk about why here in just a little bit. So let me get through some hellos and I'll come right back to you, Andrew. And we're going to talk about the ACC Crappie Sticks tournament that's happening April 10th. So we'll be right back to that. Clint Mayer, hello. Jimmy Pratt, what's going on, buddy? Glad you can make it. Glenn Mize from out Alabama. What's going on, Glenn? Harold Stamey from Rockwood, hello. Terry Gear, what's up? Todd Pell. Andrew said he caught a 3.3 pounder. That's a giant. That's a stud. Congratulations on that. Asleep, what's up? Ashley Coffee, hello. Heath McDaniel, what's going on? Crappie Kev from Ashburn, Virginia, what's going on, buddy? Heidi Clark, hello. Retired from Sam Rayburn, what's going on? Sid Lewis, hello. Blake Hawk, what's going on? Charlie, hello. Charlie Barrier, what's going on? Misty Martin. Misty is your Crappie Cove girl right there, guys. Misty, hello, Misty. Everybody say, hey, Misty. Say thank you for selling so much great stuff to everybody. We appreciate you, Misty, for everything you do. Heath from Surgoinsville. Did I say that right, Heath? Man, these names, I'll tell you, I feel kind of illiterate when I'm reading some of these names of these towns. That's why I fish. I'm not an English teacher. That's funny. Steve Hosey from Hot Springs, Arkansas. What's going on, buddy? Terry from Oklahoma. Hello. Johnny Coots. What's going on? Sid Lewis. Hello. Brian Connor. Hello. Slab Buster. What's going on, man? Terry Gear says, hey, Misty, did the 30 amp hour battery come in? My buddy Greg come and get one. So yes, Terry, they did come in. Oh, there's Misty. And I know that because I was at the store 2 days ago and I saw them and I picked one up and I was like, ooh, shiny. So that's how I know that, because I was just up there the other day. Still can't ship, but she has them. So if you're going to get a 30 amp hour battery or an amp battery from Crappie Cove, guys, you got to go pick it up, because there's all kinds of stipulations around shipping a lithium battery and they kind of stink. So you have to have certain permits and all this different stuff. I'm not going to get into it, but Sid Lewis, Virgil, hello. How are you? Fishing Lake Country, what's going on, buddy? Mike S., hello. Phil Pickett from Elkhart, Illinois, hello, hello. Chris Carter, left Ohio and landed at the Chick. Spent 3 hours this afternoon, got 16 keepers. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. Danny Rock from LaGrange, Georgia, West Point Lake. What's going on, Danny? I'm glad you could join us. So, all right. So let's talk about the ACC tournament in just a minute. Let's talk about what that tournament is, and let's talk about the structure for that tournament, how that tournament's going to work. So it is April the 10th on Watts Bar Lake, guys. Okay. So April the 10th on Watts Bar, and the let's see, where is, hang on. I don't see it now. Okay. So April the 10th, Watts Bar Lake, ACC Crappie Sticks, Big Crappie Bash, presented by Crappie Cove. So the way that tournament is going to work, guys, is you will register at Crappie Cove. Okay. Call the store right down here in the bottom. Get the phone number for Crappie Cove in my banner there. You call the store, you ask for Misty. Misty will register everybody through the store. It's $100 a boat, 2 anglers per boat. Okay. April 10th, you show up at the boat ramp that morning, and it is going to be at Tom Fuller Memorial Park boat ramp. Tom Fuller Memorial Park boat ramp is where you will register for the tournament, or you'll check in for the tournament that morning. Okay. Once you check in, there'll be a live well check. You'll check in, and then at 6:45, you have to be checked in by 6:15, guys. 6:45, there'll be a pre-tournament meeting. All right. And then after that meeting, you'll be able to launch from Tom Fuller, or you can trailer to another ramp. All right. You can trailer to another ramp. Now, the weigh-in site will be at Tom Fuller Memorial Park. So the way that's going to work is your boat will be able to weigh a crappie each hour. Each hour, you can weigh 1 crappie for big fish, if you so choose. You don't have to. It is not a mandatory weigh-in each hour, but if you choose to weigh in each hour, you can. All right? You have to come back to the weigh-in site to weigh in, obviously, and your boat and both anglers have to be back at the weigh-in site. So if you trailer to another ramp, you will have to trailer back to weigh your fish and then trailer back to the lake or to the ramp you want to fish out of. Watts Bar is a very large lake. It would take you forever to run from one end to the other of that lake. So trying to make it easy for guys, if they want to fish other areas, they can kind of spread the field out a little bit. But also what that's going to do, the guys that fish right there around the ramp, they may weigh in every hour. But the guys that fish down at the dam, or they fish up in the river, they may not weigh in every hour because they're not going to run back. So they may only weigh in 2 or 3 times during the day. They may bring 1 fish before lunch and 1 fish before the end of the tournament. You never know. It's just going to add a completely different element to crappie fishing. 1 big fish can weigh 1 per hour. You got 8 chances to win. Okay. I mean, if you're using an ACC crappie stick, $650 first place prize per hour if you're using an ACC crappie stick. Now, if you're not using an ACC crappie stick, it's $400 per hour. There is a $250 contingency for the winner of each hour if they catch their fish on an ACC crappie stick. Okay, that's crazy. I mean, $650 an hour to catch 1 fish. Come on, I'm there. I'm playing in that game. There ain't no doubt about that. I mean, that's going to be a blast. And look, you don't need a tournament bag of 7 big fish to win a tournament. You need 1 bite. You need one bite. Okay? I mean, come on. That's a blast. That's fun. And that changes the game, anybody's game at that point. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. The hourly weigh-ins will start at 7:30 and end at 3:30. So you have 7:30 to 8:30, 8:30 to 9:30, 9:30 to 10:30, and you can weigh in any time during that hour. You don't have to weigh in at 7:15, or you don't have to weigh in at 8:30. You can weigh in at any time during the hour. Okay, guys. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're out there on the lake and you catch a big fish, and let's say you got one struggling. Let's say you got a big fish, but you caught him deep and he's struggling, and you want to bring him in before, you can run that fish in. You can throw him on the scales. You can get right back in your boat and boom, go right back to fishing. All right. Now, when you weigh a fish, the scale is going to keep your fish. The weighmaster is going to keep your fish, and they're going to return that fish back to the lake. So we will not allow anglers to go back to their boat with a fish. The fish will come to the scale, get weighed. The tournament officials will take that fish back to the lake and let that fish go. Okay. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you have any questions about the ACC tournament, please ask me. If you're interested in coming, if you are coming, if you already know you're coming, go ahead, drop me something. Let me know who's coming to that tournament. I'd be interested to know who's coming. Mike S. says, are we going to see any video of the tournament? So that's a very good question. We are discussing different things that'll happen with the tournament. So there will be on Crappie Cove's Facebook page. If you guys have not liked Crappie Cove's Facebook page, go like the page and follow the page, because the tournament, your hourly winners, will be posted every hour on the Facebook page. Okay. You'll get a top 5 report. These are the 5 largest fish that were caught in this hour. This is who won the hour. Congratulations. As far as video is concerned, yes, maybe. It just all depends on what we can set up. I would like to maybe try to get, because I know there'll be some spectators out there, and there may even be a camera boat or two, but I don't know. I'm throwing some stuff around kind of in my brain, and obviously, it's got to be run by ACC and by Blake and Crappie Cove, but there's some members of the club, of East Tennessee Crappie Club, that probably won't fish, that would probably like to come out and maybe see if they can't follow a guy or two and maybe get some videos. I don't know, maybe. If there is, it'll be on Crappie Cove's Facebook page. Okay. So I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to say 100% yes either. But for sure, the hourly weigh-ins, the results will be posted on the page. And we will have Misty and some other people at the ramp taking pictures. They'll probably do videos from the ramp of the boats coming in and out. They'll do videos of the weigh-in. They'll do, hey, so-and-so just weighed a 2.7, take a video of it, put it on the Facebook page. So there'll be a lot of info going through the Facebook page. Whether it'll be fishermen on the water, I don't know yet, but maybe. Okay. So very good question, Mike. Let's see. Let's go back up, because I know I'm behind here on my comments. Let's see. Got to figure out where I left off. Oh, there we go. All right. So again, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know, are you excited? Are you interested in the ACC tournament? Are you going to try to fish the ACC tournament? Again, it's $100 per boat, 2 anglers per boat. So basically $50 an angler. For the paybacks that tournament is bringing with it, trust me, that entry fee is cheap. There will be a dinner Friday night at Bunch Marine. We will have that set up for everybody. So if you want to participate in the dinner Friday night, you may. It's not mandatory. You don't have to. It's not a mandatory thing. But we ask that if you're going to fish the tournament, come get yourself a bite to eat. There'll be more details on that in the coming weeks. but it's going to be a big deal. ACC Crappie Sticks and Crappie Cove are doing this thing up big. They're doing it right, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, you guys won't want to miss it. That's for sure. And if you live within a 6-hour radius of Watts Bar Lake, this will be one you don't want to miss because it's going to be one of the largest crappie tournaments in the East. Period. I mean, it's going to be big. With this format, it's going to reach so many more people. There's going to be so many more people that feel like they can come and participate and have a greater chance. I mean, look, you got eight hourly weigh-ins. You got 8 chances to win first place pot and basically turn $100 into, if you're fishing with an ACC rod, which you should be, you've got 8 opportunities to turn $100 into $650. I mean, that's pretty good with one fish. I mean, that's pretty good. Pretty good odds. I'm liking it. Just talking about it gets me all giddy. So anyway, let's see what we got over here. Some comments. If I missed your comment, I'm sorry. Chris Carter, Danny Rock. Let's see. Hello. Jimmy Pratt said, what if I have 10 ACC rods? How much do I win? Still just the $250, Jimmy. Sorry. It's still a contingency of $250. Jimmy Pratt said he's in. He's fishing. Let's see. Andrew says, so is there an overall big fish award like altogether? So yes, there is a grand prize. The grand prize for the biggest fish of the day is $1,500. So if you win an hour, then you got a 1 in 8 shot of winning $1,500 more dollars. Okay, so I'm just saying, guys, that's crazy for a crappie tournament. And the structure and everything that's going to be done is just, it's new, it's innovative, it's going to be a lot. I mean, it's new for crappie. So there is a tournament very similar on the bass side of things. If anybody saw Andy's live video, he actually said Bass Bash. But because there is something that's very similar on the bass side, and Andy and I, when we talked about this tournament, we were going back and forth between the crappie side of it and the bass side. And the bass side does this, well, we're not doing that. So I guess that's kind of fresh on his mind, and he said bass, but it was pretty funny. Don't worry, I sent him a text message and told him, I said, yeah, you're getting your fish mixed up. You've been drinking. So anyway, it was pretty funny, but no, it's new to crappie fishing. It's very, very, very cool. It's going to be very, very fun. And I think there's a lot of people that are going to enjoy it. I really do. So, Harold Stamey says he'll stop by for the weigh-in. Andrew says he'll be there to donate. One fish, Andrew, is all you need, my friend. If you find one brush pile that day and catch one big fish out of it, you can win a lot of money. So it's just that easy. Grant Bailey, what's going on, Mr. Bailey? I'm glad to see Mr. Bailey back. Mr. Bailey hadn't been here in a little while. I started to think he was mad at me, but he texted me today, so I was happy to get a text message from him. I thought maybe something was going on with him, but I guess maybe he just don't like me no more. Anyway, what's going on, Grant? I'm glad you're back. Michelle says we are all in. I like it. I've been trying to get them to fish a crappie tournament for a year and a half, and here we go. I'm glad that you guys are coming. It's going to be a lot of fun. I've taken you on a trip on Watts Bar, so you should be able to go and catch a good fish on Watts Bar, my friend. I really, really think you guys will enjoy it and have fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, really. Slab Buster, man, sounds like a lot of fun. That's a great turnaround on money. It really is. We're blessed to be able to have those payouts. from ACC and Crappie Cove. They're awesome, both of them, without a shadow of a doubt. So, they believe in extending the sport, growing the sport, and, getting more people involved in the sport. And that's why they're doing what they're doing. So thank you to them for that. It's awesome. The great companies, great people. It's really is refreshing to be able to be associated with such good people. So thank you to them, and you guys are gonna like it. It's gonna be fun. So let's see. Matthew Kofelt says, I'm in, but I don't like how the weigh-in is going to be. Why not? What do you not like about it? Larry Merrick, what's going on, Larry? Late to the show, one of the big bass guys, I forget, KVD, has some sort of thumper gizmo. Think it works and works for crappie. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Larry. I'm thumper gizmo. I don't know. Send me an email with what that thing is, and I'll talk about it next week. Slab Buster. Come on, Slab. You got to come up. Look, you've got to come to this, Slab Buster. This is going to be one of the closest to you. It's a big event. You're an ACC guy. You've got to come up. Oh, let me add something to the tournament. You don't have to use an ACC rod. You don't have to. You can enter the tournament if you don't fish with an ACC rod, but you will not win the contingency if you are not fishing with an ACC rod, okay? So if you don't have an ACC rod, catching your fish on an ACC rod, then you'll win $400 an hour. I know I said that earlier, but I just want to stress you can fish it if you're not fishing an ACC. You just don't get the contingency. But Slab Buster, man, you got to come up. I don't know what we've got to do to get you up here, but you need to come for sure. So whatever we need to do to as a matter of fact, Slab Buster, shoot me a text message or something and let's talk about it, because you for sure need to come up here without a doubt. Okay. Here's a good question. Do you mainly run your LiveScope in forward mode? Do you ever go to down mode? So I've owned my LiveScope now for what? Year and a half, 2 years? I don't know. Something like that. Year and a half, something. My LiveScope has never been in down mode, ever. When you have that LiveScope in forward mode, you can see directly below you. So I've never set it in down mode. Don't need to. I can see directly below and behind the transducer 5 to 10 feet, depending on how far out in front of me I am and how deep I'm fishing. So no, I've never had it in down mode. Tracy Maxwell, can't wait. We will be fishing the tournament for sure. Where's Matthew Kofeld at? Matthew, what do you not like about? You got me all jacked up now. What do you not like about the weigh-in? Oh, here we go. So Matthew says my spots are around Blue Springs area, so running back and forth for me is going to suck. Well, and that's what's going to make this, Matthew. I feel you on that, because I literally fish personally. I fish from dam to dam on that lake. I've got structure marked literally from dam to dam on that lake. Fort Loudon Dam to Watts Bar Dam. I literally have waypoints from where I can see Fort Loudon Dam to where I can see Watts Bar Dam. Okay, so I'm all over that lake too, my friend, and that's what is going to make this tournament so great, because a lot of your guys that know the lake well, fish the lake often, they're not going to be, look, when you go to a crappie tournament, Okay, Matthew? And great name, by the way. Just saying. Love it. I don't know why. Matthew. Strong name. Good name. So anyway, that's what's so great about this tournament, because when you go to a 7-fish tournament, you go out there, you fish for 8 hours, you come back, you've got all 25 boats in the field. You've got that one shot with all 25 boats as competition. Right there. One shot. That's it. With this tournament, guys like yourself, guys that fish down Piney River, guys that fish up in the Tennessee, you're going to your strong suit. You're going to your strong spots. You're going where you know you can catch big fish, but you're not going to be able to run back 8 times. It ain't going to happen because you've got 20 minutes of running. 20 minutes of running, 20 minutes of fishing, 20 minutes back is all you got. So you're not going to run 20 minutes, fish for 20, and come back to get in an hour. See what I'm saying? So what's going to happen is you're going to end up with a field that's large, that has a bunch of anglers in it, but you're not necessarily going to compete against each one of those anglers every hour. See what I'm saying? So where Matthew Kofelt may weigh in 4 hours out of the 8, you may never weigh in an hour when I do. See what I'm saying? So if you've got somebody that you say, hey, well, I always fish with this guy over here and he knows where my spots are and I don't want to compete against him, or vice versa, or whatever the case may be, you're not always going to be competing against every angler in the field for every hour. Does that make sense? Because it's optional weigh-ins. It's not mandatory weigh-ins. So Matthew, if you weigh in 4 times and I weigh in 4 times, you may weigh in the 4 hours that I don't. It just depends. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be cool to see those guys that fish right there at the boat ramp. There's not a whole lot around the boat ramp, but if they fish right there around the boat ramp, they may catch some fish and weigh in every hour. I don't know, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Jimmy Pratt, Matt, have you thought about having a Wounded Warrior fishing trip with East Tennessee crappie guys being captains? Yeah, Jimmy, we have, and we just have to, I'm a veteran myself, and I support our veterans 100%. We've considered doing that. I just have to try to fit it in and discuss with the organizations what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, how many people we're going to do it, how many people we have to do it for. So that's kind of an overtaking that we can talk about in the club, but yes, we have considered doing that several times. So, but we will talk about that. That's a good time to bring that up is at our next banquet. So when we have our next banquet, make a motion to bring that up. Let's discuss it and, see what the buy-in is. Okay. Danny Rock says, West Point Lake Crappie Tournament this Saturday. This Saturday is in this coming Saturday or April 10th Saturday. If it's April 10th Saturday, I mean, look, there's clubs, there's local crappie clubs everywhere now. Back when I started East Tennessee Crappie Club, there was nothing anywhere. I mean, it was really just, that's part of the reason that I started it, because there were so few crappie clubs around. I wanted to start one. And I was like, we got to start somewhere. Let's start here. But now they're a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. I mean, not only do you have state clubs, but you've got regional clubs, and then you've got localized clubs like one lake clubs. And yeah, it's crazy. So there's really no way to have an event, especially in the spring of the year. There's really no time that you could have an event that's not overlapping some club event somewhere. That just at that point, anglers have to decide, where am I going this weekend? Am I going to go do this or am I going to do this? And I hate to say that, but that's pretty much what we have to do. I mean, I do that myself. I've got the East Tennessee Crappie Club, and there's Crappie USA, and there's the Chattanooga Crappie Club, and there's American Crappie Trail, and there's you got to pick and choose what you're going to do, and then you just got to do it. So anyway, I hope we're not overlapping with too much on you guys, but if we are, I'm sorry. It's just one of them pick and choose games. Jeff, very good question. I answered this one a little bit earlier. When will we get login info for the class on Sunday? Oh, login info will come to you into this week. You will get your login info. My info for the class will come to you probably tomorrow. Okay. So my PowerPoint presentation and all of my print offs for you guys will come tomorrow. Okay. I've got a pretty good list of names and emails that I've got to put all my emails in there and shoot that out to you guys. But it'll be there tomorrow. Okay. Hopefully tomorrow evening, probably, because I got a very busy day, several meetings tomorrow at work, and probably tomorrow evening. Grant says, Michelle says we will be catching a donkey out of a hole you didn't show us. Well, I hope you do. I hope you catch one out of a hole I didn't show you. I hope you catch two out of a hole I did show you. I hope you catch three out of a hole that you found while you were eating lunch. I hope everybody goes out and catches some big ones. There are some giant crappie in Watts Bar Lake, and it's going to be really fun to see what the weights are. This year, there is an overabundance of fish in Watts Bar. Great spawn a couple years back. There is probably 3 years back. So there is a lot of slot fish in Watts Bar, but there are some giant fish in Watts Bar Lake, guys. It's gonna be a big tournament, big weights, and I'm looking forward to it for sure. So again, I hope y'all catch big ones. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, let's shift gears again. Let's get off ACC Crappie Stick Tournament. Let's talk a little bit about the topic for this evening because we need to do that. I'm just so excited about the ACC Tournament, guys. I can't stop talking about it. So if you guys have any more questions about it, I'd gladly answer them. Larry Merrick's got one. Congrats on the ACC newsletter video. I see that Chris was mentioned twice recently. Oh, thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. So ACC sent out their newsletter today. It had a short clip in it from Wired for Crappie that I did for ACC. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. I'm glad you saw it. And this is a little just how-to doc shoot. So it's a really good clip. Thank you to ACC for sending that out. I appreciate them. If you're watching, thank you. A lot of good stuff going out there, and a lot of good stuff for you guys to look at. And again, just great people. So let's see. Sid Lewis is, where exactly is Watts Bar? It is in, it's really Spring City, Tennessee, all the way up to Kingston, Tennessee. And then it goes all the way over to, Watts Bar runs all the way up to Lenoir City, Tennessee, below the dam. So, I mean, you really, I guess when I think of Watts Bar, I think of Kingston, Harriman, Rockwood, Spring City area. The tournament will be going out of Rockwood, out of Harriman. Rockwood is where the Tom Fuller Memorial Park is. But when I think of Watts Bar, I always think of Kingston. So give you an idea. Jed Carter says, I got ACC rods for rental right now. Who's in? For rental. You put some on rental? Hey, I mean, if you want to put them on rental, Jed, and come fish the tournament, I guess you can. As long as you got an ACC crappie stick with a jig on the end of it, you know, you can get the contingency, but you got to be using an ACC crappie stick. But be careful, Jed. Be careful, because if you put them on rental and come fish with them, you're not going to be able to turn them back in is the problem. Because once you use them for a day, you're stuck. I mean, you can't go back after that, my friend. It just don't happen. All right, so let's talk a little bit about spring crappie fishing. Let's talk a little bit about pre-spawn. Thank y'all for listening to my spiel about the tournament. I really, really am excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Slabbuster says he's fired up about it. He said, I'm fired up about the tournament. So it is. It's going to be a lot of fun. I keep saying it. I keep saying, quit saying it's going to be a lot of fun, and I keep saying it, but it really is. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be so neat, so cool to be a part of, and you guys aren't going to want to miss it. I assure you. Anyway, all right. I've said it twice now. We need to get onto the topic, but let's talk about crappie fishing, spring crappie fishing. I guess the closest season or transition period that we're coming up on now is pre-spawn. So let's talk about pre-spawn a little bit, and let's talk about what that includes. Okay, so where is my? There it is. So let's talk about pre-spawn transition. Okay, so let's start out at winter, because we're in winter right now, and water temps anywhere from 40 and below. You're really in your winter pattern. Those fish are just stuck. They're lethargic. They're out deep. There are exceptions to the rule. You guys that fish Cherokee, don't jump down my throat right now. We'll talk about exceptions to the rules. But, cold water, deep fish, everybody knows that for the most part. And, coming out of that winter pattern is your pre-spawn transition. Okay. So your pre-spawn transition really starts at about 45 degrees, in my opinion. Some people will tell you it starts down around 40. I believe it starts more towards 45 than 40. Okay. So, and if you ask a question and I miss it, I will come back to it. Just so you no, I'm not looking at my comments at the moment, but I will come back to the questions here in just a second. Okay. So, pre-spawn 45 degrees to about 58 degrees is when you're going to start and I'm not talking about, because there's going to be days here coming in the next weeks that you get a lot of sun. Like today, it was a bright bluebird day. Okay. You got a lot of sun. It warmed the water temperatures up. You probably got closer to 50 to 52 degrees in the afternoon. I'm not talking about when you get those spikes. I'm talking when I say water temperatures, guys, I'm talking sustained water temperature. I'm not talking about, I saw it at 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon after the sun shined on it all day. It got up to 57. No, we're talking, what is it when you get to the lake in the morning? Okay. Your most consistent water temperature is going to be first thing in the morning, because dark is dark. Okay. So there's no sunlight. There's no this. There's no that. Everybody knows you go to the lake in the morning, it's 50. By 2 o'clock, you're going to see 58. It's going to warm up some on a bluebird sunny day. In most instances, you're going to warm during the day. So sustained temperatures of 45 to about 55, 58, somewhere in there is your pre-spawn transition. So those fish are going to move out of wintering areas, those deeper pockets, and they're going to move up transition canals is what I call them. Okay. So if you think about the way fish move, they use those creeks and river channels and everything just like we use roads. Okay. And those fish are going to move out of those winter areas. They're going to move back through creek channels. They're going to move back through river channels. They're going to follow contours, and they're going to move back towards what they or where in your specific lake where they spawn. Okay, spawning areas. They're moving back. That's their transition. They're moving from a winter pattern to a spawning pattern. They're going from deep water to the shallows. Those females are getting funky, and the males is getting funky. Gotta keep it PG. The males are getting funky and the females are getting spunky, and they're getting ready to do their thing. So those transitional areas are areas that you need to identify. Where are those fish going to transition from? So you got to think to yourself, okay, if they're out here in the middle of the creek or in the mouth of the creek during the winter, okay, and they're sitting there in 25 to 35 foot of water and they're sitting on brush, what are they going to follow? Ask yourself, what are they going to follow to get back to where I believe they're spawning? So the first thing you've got to do is identify those spawning areas. You need to be doing that in the winter, guys. You need to be looking at your maps, figure out where you believe those spawning areas are, and then ask yourself, how is that fish going to get from point A to point B? That's the stretch of water you need to be looking at from 45 to 55 degrees. Then once you get up there above 55, you're going to get into your early spawners, okay? So then when you get to 55, you want to start getting you want to be working towards that spawning area. I've told people this before, I'll say it again, I'm not a spawn fisherman. I'm not a shallow water, sit on the beds fisherman. Never have been, never will be. The reason for that is the male fish move up first during the spawn. They move up, they prepare a bed. The female comes in, she lays her eggs, she's gone. The male stays there, he guards the fry, and once the fry get large enough, they all move out, okay? Why would I want to go up in super shallow water? 3 to 7 feet is what I call shallow, super shallow, and catch a bunch of male fish, right? Male fish are typically smaller. Everybody knows that. There are large male fish, don't get me wrong, but as a whole, male fish are typically smaller than female fish. I like to sit out there in that transition area from A to B, and I like to try to pattern those females as they're coming in and out, because they're going to come in and out, in and out, in and out, especially East Tennessee. The weather swings, you get cold fronts, it warms up, you get, rising and falling lake levels, you get all this different stuff in the spring. Go lay down. Go. Lay down, baby. Psst. Talking to my dog, not my kids. Rusty wanted out. So again, point A to point B, that transition area, right, is where I'm going to focus the majority of my time, because that's where those larger females are going to set. They're going to set in those transition areas, and those really the pre-spawn transition area, because those females are going to move in off out of deeper water. They're going to move through that transition area. They're going to hit that bank or that bay. They're going to find them a bed that a male's made. They're going to lay those eggs, and they're going to be back out there in that transition area within a matter of no time. Okay. Now everybody knows crappie come in waves. They don't all spawn at the same time. They'll move in. You'll have a wave move in. They'll move out. You'll have another wave come in. They'll move out, so on and so forth. And that'll happen throughout the spawn. Ask yourself, what in your reservoir, do you have mostly black crappie or do you have white crappie? Black crappie spawn at 68 degrees. At 68 degrees, if you get to the lake and you see 68 degrees, my gosh, they are doing it. They are doing their thing. It is happening somewhere, okay, for black crappie. White crappie, generally they hit at about 72, okay? So at 72, if your lake is predominantly white crappie, they're doing their thing, all right? But you've got to be able to recognize those temperatures, recognize your surface temps, recognize what a stable temp is, okay? And then fish accordingly. So 45 to 55, that pre-spawn transition period or area is where those fish are going to be. They're going to be moving. as crappie anglers growing up, everybody was always ingrained with the spawn's the only time to catch fish. That is the most false statement that I've heard in my entire life. The spawn can be one of the toughest times to catch fish. And let me explain why I say that, because during the spawn, fish are moving, constantly moving. They're moving up, they're moving back, they're moving in, they're moving out. They're moving from this brush pile to that brush pile. They're leapfrogging around all the time. Let me tell you something. After spawn, summer is my favorite time to fish. Absolute favorite is summer. You know why? Because the fish are done spawning. That once they're done spawning, they're hungry and they're back out. They've got warm water now. They're active because they're in warm water. They're running around. They're happy. They've got all them eggs out. They're, bebopping over here, bebopping over there. It's like, for me, I have 2 kids. So it's like when my wife was pregnant, love my wife to death. Let me tell you something. My wife stood 8 months pregnant in a baseball dugout as a dugout mom. When I was coaching Little League baseball, we had a tournament and we fished, or not fished, but we played baseball all day. 7 and 8-year-old kids played baseball from 8 o'clock that morning, made it all the way to the championship game that started at midnight. And my pregnant wife stood in the dugout for that entire time. Trust me, when she had that baby, she was ready. She was done. I'm good. She had a little bit of a recovery period, and then she was like, I'm agile again. Let's go do something. Let's get out. Let's go. I'm ready. Crappie the same way. Big girls, man, summer, once they get them eggs out and they get out there, they're hungry, they're ready to go. You can go catch some fish now. I'm telling you, that is my favorite time of the year. And they're consistent because they're back out off the banks and they're sitting on brush and they're there. They're not moving around all over the place, transitioning here, transitioning there. They're there. So anyway, sorry, I got off on summer pattern a little bit, but let's get back on spawn because we are pre-spawn. But guys, you just have to look at your reservoir or your lake and figure out, ask yourself, where are they going to spawn? That's really the biggest thing that you need to figure out is where are they going to spawn, and then you can go from there with your patterning. Let's see what you guys. I know you've got some comments. Let's go over here and see. Hang on just a second. Let's see here. I gotta go back up. Dun, 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 dun. Wouldn't it be like me if I didn't lose my spot, would it? Let's see. So headed to Hartwell tomorrow. Now that it's not really winter or spring, would you start looking deep or go shallow, or start shallow and go deep? So I've always said this: winter, I start deep, go shallow. Spring, I start shallow, go deep. But you are in that transition period down at Hartwell. I would start shallow right now. Hartwell is going to be a little bit warmer than where I'm at here in East Tennessee. I have fished Hartwell multiple times. I would start shallow and work my way deep if I was fishing Hartwell this weekend. Okay. There is a Crappie USA down there this weekend, so I don't want to give away too much because I've actually had 4 or 5 people reach out to me asking me for a little info on Hartwell, and for the sake of the rules of Crappie USA, I don't want to share a whole lot because that's just not fair. Okay. I know everybody looks to people for a little advice. I don't want to share too much, and I hope everybody understands that. It's just you're really, for purposes of tournament, you're really not supposed to do a whole lot of I guess chit-chatting. And I do guide. I am a guide, registered guide. And you're not supposed to seek any guide help for those tournaments. So I try to keep a little bit of a lip on when I know there's going to be some major tournaments places. And I'm sorry, but I would start shallow and go deep. Let's see. Mike S. Thank you, Mike, for the super chat, buddy. Man, I appreciate it very much. Guys, listen, you have no earthly idea how much the super chats that are given on these lives help Wired for Crappie and help me. This has become a very time-consuming job, really, and it helps me tremendously to get these super chats. If you don't know what a super chat is, right down below your comment section, there is a little money symbol. You can click on that. It walks you through how to give a donation to Wired for Crappie. It helps keep me on the water, making great content for you guys, for you to enjoy. And I appreciate each and every super chat that I get. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate your super chat. And it is a great way for you guys to get my attention. So when you give me a super chat, it pops up, highlights it, and says, you have a super chat, stop what you're doing, talk to this person. I can do that when I see those, and it just is a great blessing to me. So, excuse me, golly. But thank you, Mike. I appreciate the super chat, buddy. Let's see what you got. What do you look for when searching for spawning beds? That's a very good question. And again, I'm going to go back to the anatomy of a crappie. So are you fishing for mostly blacks or are you fishing for mostly whites? It's different. You're going to look for a little bit of difference between the black and the white crappie. So if your lake is predominantly blacks, blacks like grass, blacks like pea gravels and, shelly bottoms, slate bottoms, hard bottoms. Whites like more, they spawn more on structure. They spawn more on wood and brush, things of that nature. So there's a little bit of a difference between the black and the white crappie, okay? Most of the crappie in Tennessee, with the exception of Chickamauga, are whites. We do have blacks in every lake in East Tennessee, but for the most part, a lot of our lakes are predominantly white with blacks mixed in, and black nose that TWRA stocks. So most of the stuff I'm looking for is shallow wood, shallow cover, trees, poles, stake beds, that sort of thing is what I'm looking for if I'm looking for spawning beds. Okay. I hope that helps. And thank you again for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate it very, 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 very much. I saw a question up here. Heath McDaniel, you ever get your truck back and running quiet again? So thank you for the question. Update on the truck. I still do not have my truck back, guys. The parts for that were coming directly from Ford out of Detroit, and they are not in yet. So good news is they were not in yet. Good news is I got a phone call today that said the remaining parts they needed were in today. They were hoping to get it finished up and hoping to get it back to me. So I'm hoping tomorrow, maybe Friday. We'll see. I'm waiting on a call. So hopefully within the next couple of days, I'll get my truck back. And yeah, I'm going to get it back, but it's probably going to go to a fab shop, and I'm probably going to fab some kind of cage to go underneath it that mounts to the frame that will not allow, it's going to have to be open to allow airflow, but I'm going to try to get some kind of cage mounted under or bolted underneath it to the frame to where they, even if they wanted to cut them off, they couldn't get them off. Right. So I'm going to try to kind of safeguard myself against this again. Spend a little bit of money and hope that this doesn't happen again. This has been an experience and it has sucked. So we're going to try to not do that again. D-Car, only 30 likes. Come on, people. Yeah, smash that like button, guys. Listen, let me explain a little bit just how, why everybody says hit the like button, hit the like button. Look, YouTube has an algorithm. if they don't see likes on your video, they don't see comments on your videos, they don't see, people watching your videos, they don't recommend your videos. So you smash that like button for me. It helps the channel out. Guys, listen, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please go smash that subscribe button and that notification bell, please. I'm really bad at not ever saying that. I'm a firm believer in, if you like what's going on here, you're going to plug into it. If you don't, you won't. But sometimes people do forget. So I guess I need to start telling people or asking people to smash that subscribe button. So if you don't care, smash the subscribe button, notification bell, follow what's going on with Wired for Crappie. We appreciate it. And smash the like button. Thanks, D-Car, for letting everybody know. I appreciate it, buddy. Slab Busters is hard to go from ACC back to a Snoopy rod. Look, I'll never knock anybody's products. There's a lot of good rods on the market. There really is. But I think ACC, in my opinion, has a curve. So, I will say that. Blake Hawk, thank you, Blake, for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate it. It's a blessing to me. It really is. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for that. You're the man. Andrew says, is there a way to tell male from female? Eggs. That's pretty much it, Andrew. Eggs. The males will turn black, but for the most part, the only way to tell is, does she have eggs or not? That's pretty much how you tell it. Or it is how you tell it. Slab Buster says he likes post spawn 10 times better. Yeah, me too. I do too. Post spawn, summer, those are my favorites. Faux show. Marty, hang on, Marty. I'll be right back. I got a notification. Tom A. Tom, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate you very much. It's a blessing to me. Like I said, I don't take any of them lightly, and I thank you very much. It helps this channel and helps me out tremendously. So thank you very much, Tom. I appreciate it. So what you got here? Let's see. Late to live tonight. Hello, Wired fam. When are we going to receive PDF file for Sunday's Crappie Cove class? PDF file will come out to you tomorrow, Tom. Okay, buddy? You guys will see that tomorrow. It's funny because I'm meticulous when it comes to my content and my data and everything that I do and say and go through and what order I put stuff in. I'm meticulous about it. So I actually read through my PowerPoint like 387,000 times, and I kept moving stuff around, and I said, well, I don't like the way that looks, so I'd pull all this wording over here and put this photo over here, and I'm moving around. So I literally was working on it through today. So, I had everything done. I had it all in there, what I wanted to go through, but I was just trying to get everything fit, form, function, and all that crap done. So, but I did get it done today. I'm happy with it. And I sent it off to the print shop to be printed for your books. For everybody that's going to be there in person is going to get it in a book. Everybody that won't be there in person will get it in PDF online, so they can PDF it, print it out themselves. You can send it over to Office Depot, and they'll print it for you. You can, however you want to do it. So, or you can just go through a PDF, but I wanted everybody to have something they could write on, take notes for the class, and you'll get that tomorrow. All right, Marty, on the question about stowing to LiveScope went on the move, I was wondering if it's common for people to secure it somehow, strap it down or such. I guess I'm thinking of a rough water. Okay. So stowing my LiveScope. How do I stow my LiveScope? Well, Marty, to answer your question, I fish out of a Ranger 690 VS. It's a deep V. It was built for the Great Lakes. I love my boat. I really do. It takes rough water like a dream. It really does. I mean, I can plow through rough water like it's flat. It's absolutely beautiful how that boat handles rough water. But nonetheless, outside of that, I do not strap my LiveScope down. My pole lays on the deck just like a rod would, and I hadn't had any issues yet. Now, if I got in like Lake Erie waves, then yes, I'd have to strap it down. The way that I would do that is with a rod strap. So I fish with the Fishing Specialties pole. Discount codes right down here in the bottom again, guys, for Fishing Specialties. If you want to look at their products for a LiveScope pole, you can save some money through Wired. Wired discount gets you 10% off at Fishing Specialties on your LiveScope pole. So mine just lays on the deck, but if I ever hit something where I needed to strap it down, I would just use a bungee type fishing rod mount or fishing rod strap. Or you can use the pull out strap. You can use the Velcro strap, whatever it is your preference is. But I have the little bungee one. That's the one I would use. Okay. Trent Smith, man, I'm glad you mentioned this right here. You guys see this right here? I've said this before on this channel. We have talked about this before on this channel, and I said for years, and I've told my fishing partner for years, I've told people for years, I am a firm believer that in East Tennessee, our Clearwater lakes that are controlled by that are controlled by TVA, that are drawdown lakes. The lake fluctuates even during the spring. The lake fluctuates with rains, spring rains. I'm convinced that the crappie have adapted and they spawn deeper. One reason that I'm convinced of that is because for years you've seen people, they're posting pictures of crappie out in May and June, even in July, that have eggs, fresh eggs in them. I'm not talking brown eggs, like they're I'm not talking about eggs that are breaking down, that they're re-ingesting or redigesting. I'm trying to say something, I just don't know how to say it. Anyway, I'm not talking about eggs that are breaking down and brown. I'm talking about fresh, golden, yellow eggs in a fish in that May, June, and July. The reason I believe that's happening is because the fish have adapted to the lake conditions, the water levels changing, the rains, and they're waiting on that deeper water to hit that right temperature. So think about this for a second. If you've got fish, a white crappie spawns in 72, right? That's the magical temperature for white crappie is 72. If your surface temp or 3 feet of water is 72, 7 to 8 feet of water is probably, 65, 63, something. Probably not 10 degrees, but it's probably 8. So, you're probably 65 degrees out in that 7, 8. So that's why I think those fish spawn a little later out into May, June, even maybe July, because I think they're waiting on that right depth, that consistent depth to get to the right temperature. Fish, those eggs obviously they need temperature, right? That's the biggest thing for crappie eggs. They got to have water. I mean, if TVA draws the lake down and, or draws it down past where they spawn, kills all the eggs, right? Because they got to be in the water. If they dry out, they won't hatch. But they need water and they need temperature. So the temperature's got to be right. Hang on, guys. I can get my charger. Let me plug my computer up. Good thing my charger was close. Forgot to plug it up. Told me 2%. About to lose you guys. So I believe that the fish wait until that deeper water gets to the right temperature to where their eggs survive and they can spawn in that deeper water. I'm a firm believer in that. I've said that for years, and I swear they do. I mean, So there was an instance last year where my fishing partner, we've talked about this for years, and he, now that LiveScope's out, there's all this different stuff that we're learning, right? So he literally was out on the lake in there was rather 8 or 10 foot of water, and he saw a stick that was laying at a 45 off the bottom, and he said he saw a fish on there with LiveScope, and this crappie was going up and down this stick. It'd go up and it'd come back down. And it'd go up and it'd come back down. It was just literally doing like this, a fish on that stick. He said, I didn't know what it was. And he said, I watched it for about 2 or 3 minutes. And he said, finally, I pitched in there. And he said, I pitched in there and it went down. Bait went down. That fish come up, hit the bait. He set the hook. It was a 2.25 pound fish or something. But he said it was the strangest thing because it was down there in 8 feet of water, just going up and down this stick like this right here, just up and down, up and down. And he said, I caught that fish and I pulled that fish in the boat. And he said he didn't think about it at the time. He was telling me this after his day of fishing. He said, I pulled that fish in the boat. It was a big female. And I'm sitting there holding the fish, and there's eggs coming out of her, landing in the floor of the boat. He said, I swear, he said, that fish was going up and down that stick. I think she was laying eggs on that stick. I said, I guarantee it's what she was doing. If she was going up and down that stick and she had eggs coming out of her when you caught her, then yeah, she probably was laying on that stick in 8 feet of water. So yeah, I agree with that 100%. So that was a long drawn out way to say I agree with that. But I like to give examples, guys. I'm very detail oriented, and I like to give examples of where my thoughts come from, other than just this is my thought. But yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Now, 15 feet. I don't know. I hadn't seen a whole lot in 15 feet, but I've seen it in 8 to 10 for sure. Phil Pickett, thank you, Phil, for the super chat. I appreciate it very, very much. Again, it's a blessing to me. Thank you very much for the super chat. I've noticed large numbers of crappie move off the brush when I'm using LiveScope. Do you think it's from the pinging transducer or just normal fish movement? Water temp is 45. I think it's normal fish movement, Phil. A lot of times you'll see fish, they'll be sitting on a brush pile and they will just move. And they'll move back. And then they'll move. And they'll move back. I mean, crappie are notorious. Crappie are schooling by nature, schooling breed by nature. The larger crappie are loners. They will move off by themselves. But for the most part, crappie are school-oriented fish. And if you get one fish, Phil, like let's say a shad or a little group of shad or one shad swims by and a fish runs out and eats that shad, those fish will go with him. Okay. They'll go, wait, where's he going? And they'll go out there with him, and then they'll just slowly migrate back to the brush. It happens all the time. That's why when I drop brush piles, I like to drop them in threes. I like to drop them in threes. That way, if they move off of, and I like to kind of put them in a not three right up on top of one another. I like to put one over here, and one over here, 20 or 25 feet apart, because they'll move off this one and you'll see them just kind of migrate over to this one. And then you'll just kind of see them float and they'll move over to this one. And it's like, okay, so that's kind of normal movement, my opinion. D Carr, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate you very much. It's a blessing to me. Guys, thank you. Thank you very much for the super chats. When will there be another run of grasshopper stump bugs? Very good question, D. So we are talking to Bonehead right now. Guys, that was a one-time run of stump bugs, but we're telling them, look, we got to get more. What do we got to do? We're talking to them. Bonehead is another great, great company, great people, salt of the earth people to work with. And it is it's coming. Okay. We will have another run. But so many of you guys reached out to them in the beginning and said, when's this coming back? When's this coming back? That it was like, okay, Matt, we'll do something. We'll do, but we don't. And then they told me this. We don't want to add this color back. We don't want to run this color. I said, I know, guys, but just run it for us this one time. Come on, just run it. And it was like, fine. It was kind of one of those conversations. And they're like, fine, will you leave me alone? And I'm like, yeah, I'll leave you alone. And he's like, okay. So we're trying to get through that conversation again to where they go, fine, will you leave me alone? And I'm like, yeah, I'll leave you alone. So bear with us. We're going to get more run, I hope, and we'll let you guys know when they're coming, okay? So to answer your question, we're pushing. We're pushing hard, and we're hoping that that'll happen, okay? All right, let's roll back up here. I go find my spot again. I'll find her in just a second. Hey, there we go. Heidi, how's your dream home office coming along? So the new house and the shop are still not out of the ground. They still waiting on permits. Everybody's blaming everything on what happened last year. So everybody says they're 1,500 years behind and still waiting on permits. Thanks, Matt. We're just fun fishing, by the way. Yeah, I know. I get that. Talking about the Hartwell thing. I didn't want to give a vague answer to you and not kind of explain why. Like I said, I've been reached out to by multiple people asking for stuff for the tournament, and I try to stay out of that because technically I am a guide, and I don't want to do anything that could break a rule. I'm not a rule breaker, so just try to stay out of that. Greg has a question. Gainesboro, Tennessee question. What's your best size ACC rod for jigging brush piles using LiveScope? No doubt 6.5 footer for me. 100% 6.5 footer for brush piles. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And the reason that is, Greg, is because I like to pitch and cast brush piles. I don't like getting right over top of the fish. Whether it spooks them or it doesn't spook them. A lot of times, if you get fish that are out away from the brush, you can spook them. If they're in the brush, you won't spook them. But I just don't want to take a chance of spooking them. So I like to pitch, cast my brush piles, and work a jig. I like to be creative with working a jig because I can present. Look, if you're fishing straight up and down with a jig, there's two presentations that you can give them: bouncing straight up and down, or sitting dead still. Those are the two presentations you got: up, down, or sitting dead still. Now, with my 6.5 footer, I can still do that. I can get right over top of them and do straight up and down or, dead still. But with my 6.5 footer, I can cast and swim it. I can cast and bounce it back, bounce, pause, bounce, pause. I can do a slow, steady retrieve, just a crank, pause. There's so many more things I can do with a 6.5 foot rod staying off the brush to make that jig look real. That's the biggest thing. You've got to take something that's not real and make the fish believe it's real, that it's alive. And for me, that's the way I like to do it with a 6.5 foot ACC crappie stick. Let's see. Trent Smith, thank you for your super sticker, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you for what you gave. It's much appreciated. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. If you find a big group of fish on a pile and get no bites, do you go back and try it later in the day? Sometimes I will, yes. But I'm a one-stop shop, okay? A lot of times. I go somewhere and find a big group of fish. What I found, Trent, throughout the years of crappie fishing, if I go somewhere and find a big group of fish that won't bite, they're not going to bite that day. They're just not. The large group of fish, the larger groups of fish. My gosh, I got the hiccups. Sorry. Somebody scared me. The larger groups of fish are less prone to bite than those isolated groups of fish that are, 5 to 10 fish. So if you can find those 5 to 10 fish, typically you can sit there and catch every one of those. But if you find 50 to 100 fish, you can catch 1 or 2, and the rest of them just watch your lure swim by. It's just aggravating as crap. But I look for those smaller, isolated groups of fish, and they're typically larger fish too. Let's see. Call Me Camo wants to know if I got my truck monkey anti-theft device. I did. I got 2. One for in the truck and one for under the truck. And I gave them both billy clubs and I can't say. Let's see. I gave them both billy clubs and mace. Let's see. Yeah, Chris is trying to stay on the bright side of things. Just think of the mileage you're saving on the truck when you're not driving in. You got to look at the bright side. That's true. I am saving on my mileage. My brand new F-250 that, was 4 months old. I guess I'm saving some mileage on it. So, yeah, that's true. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But, hey, I am saving mileage. I guess my tires will last a little bit longer. Whatever. Still paying a payment, though, Chris. They didn't stop my payment. I can tell you that right now. My wife said the same thing. She's like, we're paying a payment. And I'm like, I know. I don't even have it. So, hey, it's okay. Dan, do you think pre-spawn females like to suspend or hug bottom in transition areas? I think it depends on the weather pattern that you're in, the barometric pressures, the amount of sunlight that you have. On those bright bluebird days, those real high pressure days, then I think yes, they like to hug the bottom. I think on those cloudy, overcast days, I think they like to suspend or suspend over top of brush. I think they'll still be on that brush on those high pressure days, but they'll be on the bottom, sitting on the bottom in that brush, and just kind of staging, as they move, make their transition up to spawning areas. But that's kind of the way I have seen it over the years, and kind of the way I approach it when I go to the lake. Very good question. Oh, here's a good question. Todd Pell, do you find when fishing a certain color on a brush file, does it work on most brush files in other areas? If I can identify a color, okay? So, for instance, the Cherokee tournament that we just had 2 weeks ago, my partner and I won the tournament up at Cherokee. We identified a color that the fish would hit. We fished with black and chartreuse, white and chartreuse, moon dust, moonshine glow. We fished with blue and chartreuse. We tried, what else did we try? We tried just silver shad. We tried a lot of different colors. But when I put purple and chartreuse on, it was just noticeably different. The fish would turn and react to a bait when they seen it, instead of when you hit them on the nose. So as soon as they saw it, they would react to it. And that told us right away, purple and chartreuse was the color. And we never turned off purple and chartreuse the rest of the day. We both tied on purple and chartreuse, and we rolled with it the rest of the day and caught fish everywhere we went. that's the typical pattern that you'll find with color. I've always said that, in my opinion, color is not the trigger. Okay, color is not the trigger for fish. It's the contrast. It's the way that bait contrasts itself when it's underneath the water's surface. So I have a video out on that. It's called Color for Crappie. Think of this first. If you guys hadn't watched that video, please go watch that video. There's cups in front of me with 3 different colors of water: clear tap water, a little murky water, and then dirty water. And I take different color jigs and put them in those glasses and talk about it. You can see how they disappear, how they stand out. So it's, a pretty neat video on how color works and my thoughts on contrasting the water, not necessarily the color of the jig. Okay. It's just about how that fish sees it and how that fish portrays that bait when they see it in that particular color of water. So once you find a color, to answer your question, it typically works across the lake that given day. Unless you run, now if you're fishing down around, take Watts Bar for instance, you're fishing down around Watts Bar Dam, and you say, well, it's lunchtime, I'm going to pull out and go up here to below Fort Loudon Dam. There's going to be a watercolor difference from one side of the lake to the other. If the watercolor changes, your jig color may change. But if you're staying around the same area in the same water clarity, then you're going to be fine, okay, with the same color. Hang on. All right. Nathan Rutledge, he says, where are you based out of? It's my first time on stream. Looks interesting. Well, thank you for joining us, Nathan. I hope you're still on. As you can tell, I get behind the 8 ball a lot of times with my comments, but I appreciate you very much for being here if you're still on. And I am actually in East Tennessee. I'm out of Maryville. So I live in Maryville. My wife, me, and my 2 beautiful boys live in Maryville. In Marvel. I guess I call my home lake Tellico, but Loudon's just as close, and Watts Bar is probably the 3rd most fished for me. But Loudon and Tellico are probably the 2 most that I fish. 2 lakes I fish most. Okay. Speaking of my beautiful wife, living life with Laura. Hello, hello. Yeah, there's going to be Josh Sanders. D Car, how much you willing to give for a pack? Just kidding. It's gonna be we're gonna create a black market for pumpkin and chartreuse stump bugs. It's pretty funny. Grasshopper stump bugs, the black market. Let's create a Facebook page that says Black Market Stump Bugs. That's pretty funny. Crappie Kev, he says, I don't get it. Pumpkin and chartreuse is one of the best colors. It really is. It's a staple in the fishing industry. Pumpkin and chartreuse has been used to catch fish for years, not just crappie, bass, everything. It really is. It's a staple for the industry. So anyway, I don't know. I don't get it either, but hey, it is what it is. Backbone Outdoors, what's up? He says, hey, what's up, man? What's going on? Nathan, I was crappie fishing on Fort Loudon the other day, and I caught a crappie with a white gummy texture on its fin. What could that be? So it's like it's just like a not really a disease. I don't want to say a skin disease, but it's like a shoot, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not a biologist, you can tell. No, it's basically like a skin condition for crappie. They get it, and a lot of times they get it, and once they get it, they got it, kind of thing. It's almost like I guess for you and I, kind of like a rash or just a skin condition. I always throw those back. You don't really catch them often, but when I do, it just looks nasty. So I always throw it back. I'm just like, yeah, thanks for the fun, which I throw most of my fish back anyways. Hang on. Rusty wants out again. All right. I throw most of my fish back. I don't keep many fish anymore, but that's what that is. It's just kind of a skin condition for those fish. Asleep said good night all. He's heading out. Good night. Appreciate you for being here, Chris. Brian. So Brian's got a comment here. If anybody needs a battery box for their amped outdoor batteries, check out Ice Hole Power, veteran owned and operated. Hoorah! Thank you for their service. They have pre-wired and do-it-yourself options. Brian, I'm not knocking the product, my friend, but I'm going to tell you this because it is an experience of mine. Okay. Be careful with those pre-wired boxes because most of them have circuit breakers in them. Listen, let me tell you my experience, okay? So I run a 30 amp hour outdoors battery, okay? So does my fishing partner. My LiveScope system's wired just like his, but he had one of these pre-wired boxes, okay, battery box. I'm pulling 13.2 at my unit. He was only pulling 12.3, 12.4. He's going, why am I not pulling 13.2, 13.3 like you do? I said, well, I don't know. So we start trying to figure out, well, what's his battery gun on it? Well, when you took the reading from his battery, he's got 13.3, 13.4 volts at his battery. Then you look at his unit, he's only got 12.2, 12.3 on his unit. Well, where are we losing power? That battery box, because it had all those different switches and circuits in it, he was losing that much voltage, that many amps through that pre-wired battery box. That's why I always tell people, do not run through any breakers. Do not run through any switches. Do not run your LiveScope through any boxes. Power your LiveScope directly from the battery itself. That is where you're going to get your best draw, your best amperage, and your best voltage. Every time you break a circuit or you have what could be a break in the circuit, anytime you splice a wire, you will lose amperage. You will lose voltage. We took his battery box out, wired it directly to his amped battery, and he's pulling 13.4 just like that. Problem solved. So I would caution you when it comes, because look, here's the thing. If your battery starts losing a little bit of voltage and you're already losing some from the box, from the circuits or the breakers, you could end up with funky things going on with your LiveScope. And as everybody knows, LiveScope is a power hungry giant. It needs power, it needs amps. So I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Look, I'm just telling my experience. Me personally, I would not run it through a battery box. I don't. That's just my personal opinion because I've seen one of those back. I don't know if I'm not sure if he had. Well, hold on. I'll tell you if it was the ice hole power. I don't know if it's their box or not, but I'll Google it real quick. He had a battery box, ice hole power. Yes, that is the exact box he had, as a matter of fact. That is the box he had. So he was losing voltage through that box. So I would caution you against that. Man, they've got good looking boxes though. They really do. And they're nice. They're nice boxes, but all the switches and stuff is where he was losing his voltage from. Fungus. Thank you. Golly, that's the word I was looking for. Fungus. It's a fungus. D-Car says boo. Boo what? Boo is in scare me boo? We talking about D. Nathan, that's where I'm from. Also, I go to Heritage High. Well, what's going on, man? What's going on? Glad you joined us. We're neighbors. Mike S. Grasshopper Slim Sticks and Brush Gliders too. That's right. All right, guys. Looks like we got to the end of the comments. I appreciate each and every one of you for being on here. We're going to call it a night tonight. Oh, yeah. Yeah, D-Car was trying to get rid of my hiccups. Thanks, D. Appreciate you. I said, somebody scare me. He said, boo. Thank y'all very much. Guys, listen. Crappie Academy class happening Sunday. ACC Crappie Sticks, Big Crappie Bash presented by Crappie Cove, April the 10th. Get registered. Look, don't wait till the last minute. Please don't wait till the last minute to register. If you know you're fishing the tournament, please register for the tournament before the last week because we are trying to get everything organized. Crappie Cove, ACC, they're trying to figure out how much stuff they need to bring to give away. Look, if there's only 10 people registered the 3 days before the tournament, they may not bring enough to give away to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So we need everybody to register as soon as they can get registered so that they know what all's coming, how many people are coming. We've got there's the dinner Friday that's got to be cooked for. There's all this different stuff that's got to be planned. Please, 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 if you know you're going to fish that, go ahead and call Crappie Cove, get registered. Talk to Misty, tell you want to register for the tournament. She'll hook you up. She'll get you all your information. We'll send you all the information, the rest of the info for the tournament, and send it to your email and get you registered on the list. So go ahead and get registered for that. Watch out for the video this week. Watch out for our live next week, and I'll see some of you guys Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that, and the guys that I'll see Sunday and gals. I appreciate everything that y'all did. Thank you again to the people that gave super chats tonight. I appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys next Wednesday live. So I appreciate it, and God bless as always, guys. Y'all have a good week and a good night.